everyone today. We are so excited that you are here with us. We have an incredible special guest. You all are going to be blown away, especially you ladies out there. This is our How to Heal Naturally, but this is our holiday edition. And the reason why I am more than excited to have Carol May with us is because if you are in that bracket of suffering from ADD or ADHD, or even just, a mom, wife, woman, all the things we do, you are going to want to hold on tight. Grab a hold of what we're going to share today. And I also want you to know that you are not alone in your journey. Carol, thank you so much for being here with us.
You're welcome. I'm really excited.
This is so great. So tell us, how did you start getting involved in this field? Because it's a very laser focused niche that you have here.
Yeah, absolutely. I've always been I say always, but I've always worked with food my whole life. And I started off as a home economist and a chef. So, and, I wrote cookery books, that sort of stuff. So loved food and all of that. And then I was actually diagnosed in my 40s. And which was a time when adults, certainly here in the UK, were never diagnosed at all.
Right.
And, excuse me. And I will be 70 for my next birthday. So this was quite some time ago now, right?
I love it, yes.
And I just parked it because back then we didn't know anything really about ADHD in adults and certainly not in women.
Right.
And so carried on with life.
So how did you know that this was an issue in your life? Like, when you grew up, did your parents say something about it so you always kind of knew it was there, or just something just didn't seem right through your journey?
Well, things weren't right, but also I put that down to me. I put that down to, I am XYZ, right? I am stupid, I am worthless, I am all those things, right? And because back then ADHD was not known about, neurodiversity was not known about, but looking back, I can see my father was certainly ADHD, and then my sister began working in this field. And so it was through the psychiatrist that she was working with, and who was helping to diagnose parents of children that she was working with.
Okay.
And she said to me, "You need to get tested."
Oh, wow.
So
really?
Yeah.
Did you feel resistance, or were you like, "Hey, maybe you're right"?
No, I felt like, really? You're telling me what to do again? Absolutely no chance. And then she said, "I'll pay." Okay, right, yeah, okay, right, I'll go along with this.
Okay, right.
Okay. And so, the test is like 4 hours long. It takes about 4 hours with all the questions you have to answer, and then the time spent with the psychiatrist and everything. And at the time, it was like, oh, well, we didn't actually really talk about adults with ADHD at all. And I had no idea the actual impact of it on my life that far.
Okay.
And so he didn't give me medication because I was taking something else which was contraindicated. So I went down the supplement route at that point.
Nice.
To support brains generally, really.
Right. Now, was that already part of your lifestyle, living, trying to do things naturally? So that was already, okay, right.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, totally. And I can't tell you why, but it just was.
Okay.
It's like, I always believed in eating homemade, cooked, good food.
Right.
And not going to McDonald's. My kids never went to McDonald's. My son does now, but he's 41. So, hey, do you know what? He's a grown up, right?
Yeah.
But you know, I mean, he's not there every day, obviously, but so for me, eating well and looking after yourself was how you were going to be healthy as you got older.
Yeah. Okay.
And and then I went into perimenopause, and my menopause journey spanned 20 years.
Oh, wow.
It was really challenging.
Okay.
And of course, what I didn't understand at the time was that an ADHD brain actually aggravates menopause.
Oh,
it actually
interesting.
aggravates the menopause symptoms, really does exacerbate them and make them a lot worse. And so, and of course, and that was certainly in my 40s, we didn't have a lot of the supportive supplements we have now, which women can take if they're not allowed HRT, which I was not. So, you know, again, I was pushing through the whole time without realizing why life was so hard.
Right.
And
I just want to reiterate to our audience, right? Because what you put out is what you attract, and what you're seeking is seeking you. And if this is resonating with you, because it really is true, even way back in the day, you might not have gotten a diagnosis, right? And us as women, we, you know, it's like we're allowed to feel certain ways because of our cycle or our hormones, or what you were talking about, going through different, you know, stages of menopause. But honestly, at the end of the day, it really, if this is resonating with you, what Carol is talking about, you could actually really be suffering from ADHD, and, you know, and this can really help you. Okay. I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
So I didn't really get to grips with having an ADHD brain until about 5 years ago. To be honest. But up to that point, because of my own issues with my body, with dieting, you know, I trained in everything I could. So, you know, nutrition, eating disorders, weight loss counseling, you know, EFT. I trained in so much, and yet somehow I still had an issue with myself and my own body. And then a previous coach of mine, business coach of mine, she put a post out on social media. I saw it, I commented, and she said, "Do you know that's me?" I went, "Yeah, I know that's you." And she goes, I said, "Because I'm your ideal client."
Oh my goodness, yes.
Because I have ADHD.
Yeah.
And she goes, "Oh, we need a conversation." So after that, I had 3 years of ADHD coaching with her. And what I learned there was how to be more accepting of myself, how to go, "Oh, okay, I do that because I have an ADHD brain." Or it's like, because I have an ADHD brain, I struggle with doing this the way I am told I'm supposed to be able to do it. So, and it's a bit like doing business. You know, we're told, "Oh, you know, you do business in an XYZ way." Well, my ADHD brain goes, "Nah, not me. I don't want to do it that way. That's very boring. No, I'm not interested in that." Right? I want to do it a different way. Well, actually, we can. And what Emma taught me was, I could do business any old way I liked. And I could do life any old way I liked.
I love that.
And so, and I could be accepting of myself. I actually learned to be more accepting of others as well. And I ended up teaching cooking to children who have ADHD and autism. Because, you know, I just click with them. And sometimes, you know, I sit with them on a table, and the volume's getting louder and louder and louder, but we're all getting really enthusiastic about it. And you get the kids that go, "Oh, miss, do I have to wear an apron? Of course you do. How can you possibly cook if you're not going to make a mess? Right?
Right. Yeah.
And I know, and all this sort of thing. I love all of that. And I think I was speaking to a colleague prior to our call here, and she said, "Oh, I've seen you. Should have watched you over the last couple of years to be more open about talking about it and talking about how ADHD affects you in your life."
Yeah.
Because we're all individual.
So good.
But what we're learning is how our hormones as women affect our ADHD brain.
Right.
So the two mesh together, and how we can, with menopause and all the other upsy downsies that we have with our hormones, how having an ADHD brain impacts on that.
Wow.
So
That's
it's
incredible.
Fascinating.
It
Absolutely
really is,
fascinating.
and it's something that people don't really talk about. That's what I love most about what you do, is it's like the ADHD in women, and then going through with our hormones, it's so powerful. So how did you make that transition of, okay, finally accepting, okay, yes, I do have ADHD, and then you started, you were doing work in the schools and all of that. How did you segue into being like, wow, there's such a gap here, like nationwide, that I really need to go in and become a coach to really help people in this?
I think because I was already coaching and in the therapy world with
right.
eating disorders, chronic yo-yo dieters, teaching women how to become intuitive eaters.
Okay, right.
As rather than going, which I'd done my whole life, was I don't like me, I want to be smaller.
Okay.
Right. I taught them how to eat in line with their body's needs, because that's how we're born.
Yeah.
And I've watched my granddaughter, who's now 5, and her mum would put everything on the plate. So there'd be yogurt, there'd be fruit, there'd be savory stuff, there'd be this, that, and the other. And she'd eat it in any old which way she chose.
Okay, right.
Right. So there was no, you have to eat all of that before you can have that nonsense.
Right.
Right. So she just ate it. And I said, what difference does it make? It all goes down together. Right.
Well, that's true. That's a good point, right?
Right. And if that's what she wants to do, then that's fine. Right. Yes. And there would be some days when she always gets up at 6. She's hungry straight away. So she's got to have breakfast. But then she might have a second breakfast.
Oh, there you go.
Before she went to nursery, or she now goes to school.
Okay. Yeah.
But then she wouldn't eat much at lunchtime.
Okay.
And then she'd have something later on. But some days she'd just have the one breakfast. She'd eat more at lunchtime. And I watched how her appetite and how much she ate varied each day. And that's what we've forgotten. We're born that way. Yeah. Totally connected to our body and its needs and its wisdom. Because if you listen, it will talk to you and it will tell you everything you need to know. So your intuition will tell you everything you need to know about somebody else that you've met that you might not click with, for instance. Right. Your body will also tell you when it's hungry, when it's had enough, when it doesn't like something, when it doesn't fancy something, when it goes, nah, actually, I think I'll have something in an hour's time. Your body will tell you that.
Right, you're right.
No clock. We're taught to eat to a clock.
You're right.
Because that's the way society is organized.
Right.
And then we get this fear around, oh, I don't think I want to ever feel hungry. And you get that thing of, well, I'm allowed 3 meals a day and 2 snacks.
Right.
How on earth are you going to feel hungry with that lot? I really don't know. And we get lulled into this place that, I call it darting propaganda, quite frankly. Okay. And so that was my passion, was to help women to allow their body to rebalance its weight by actually releasing their emotional weight.
Wow. That's
Because
powerful. Yeah.
if you release that,
Yes.
the physical weight goes with it, because we store trauma in
Right.
that on our body.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Yeah, I've never heard anyone explain it like that, but it really
Right.
is true. It's like even society tells us, this is the way to do it, and even in the holistic nutrition world, it's like, no, this is the way you do it, and
Yep.
but you're so right about everyone is completely different. What works for one person doesn't work for someone else. And to really become intuitive on what your body needs is, then you'll find results,
Absolutely.
I love
yeah.
that. So what are some tips that you can give our audience that you feel have just really helped you and and those that you have in your coaching program to really move forward, especially during the holidays and all that's like already, right? Women already carry the weight of so much on their shoulders. And here we go into this, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing I say to them is our ADHD brains do not need carbohydrate during the day. Now, this is quite, it's quite a controversial thing, but actually they want protein and healthy fats to function.
That's good.
So you don't need very much of it. So for instance, I always have eggs for breakfast with avocado. Every single morning. Unless, of course, I'm away. And when I was away on holiday, I had a cooked breakfast, but that was smoked salmon, scrambled eggs, some nice porridge, a compote, cream, filled myself up for the day. So, and I don't personally, and this is what I found with a lot of my clients, is they're not hungry first thing in the morning. Okay. So I just say, well, don't eat then. Don't eat until you're hungry. And they go, oh, are we doing that intermittent fasting thing?
Oh, right.
No, we're not.
Yeah.
Right. We're just learning to eat when our bodies goes, I'm hungry.
Yeah, that's good.
And of course, they don't actually know what that feels like to start with.
Yeah.
So that's, but what I give them is an exercise, which is kinesiology exercise, where you use your body as the pendulum. So you can ask it yes, no questions, and it will swing. Yeah. So if you're standing, hip with your feet hip width apart, arms nicely at the sides, standing nice and straight, and you just say to it, are you hungry right now? And it will either press forward and you'll feel it pressure on your toes. Oh, nice. Or it will press backwards and you'll feel it on your heels.
Oh, that's so instantly interesting. So if you're hungry, what do? You just stand?
You just stand softly with your knees quite soft, right? Feet hip width apart, close your eyes, say to your body, are you hungry right now? Yes or no? And it should sway slightly forwards or backwards. You're going forwards.
Gosh, yes, I can feel that. I can feel that. That is really powerful.
Isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Amazing. You all have
to really
try that.
Is.
Literally, you all have to try that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I wasn't really sure if I was going to experience what you're just, and I was like, let's do it. That is amazing. Okay, that's good. I love it.
Right.
I love it. Yeah.
And
you're right. It's like even tapping into your subconscious, because it's like our natural neurotransmitters will be like, oh, well, it's, this time. So, I don't feel hungry, or I do, obviously, because it's noon, or what, you know what I'm saying? But you're like, no, just go into your subconscious, quit looking at the clock or what you think. Yeah. Really that's really, wow.
Yeah.
Intense.
And then you can ask it what it wants to eat. Okay. So you can say, do you want eggs? Yeah. You could hold the food in your hand. So doing this, I've had clients discover that their body doesn't like certain types of cheese. So it's not that they can't have any cheese.
Yeah.
They just, body doesn't really like that particular cheese right now.
Okay, right. Yes.
It might like it in the future, but right now
Yeah.
it doesn't want that. So yes, so we focus on small meals.
Yeah. I know you have my brain going right now to a whole nother level. I'm like trying to stay on the path with you, but I'm like thinking of all these scenarios, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I've never heard anyone explain it like that. That's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I used to use a pendulum, but then
Yeah.
I thought, even if I'm resting my elbow here and supporting my hand, I could still be making that pendulum do something.
Okay, true. Yes. Yeah.
Right. But with the body, if your eyes are closed, you're just letting the body take over.
It's so good. Yeah, it makes so, because I do the pendulum thing too, and but you're right. Like this is like, it's a full body experience, you know.
It is.
For sure.
Yeah.
I love that.
And so for the majority of people, yes is forward and no is backwards.
Okay. Yes.
You will get one or two people who are reversed. They're the other way around, and that requires a whole different thing. But
right.
So that's for the majority of people. But eventually, if you do that regularly, eventually you are able to just ask your body, and you will feel it here in your belly.
Okay.
You'll actually feel it there. It will tell you. And my question is always, okay, if you're hungry, if I gave you greens, would you eat it? Then it's hungry if it says yes.
Okay.
Right. Because if your mind goes, nah, I really want some of that chocolate that's in the fridge.
Right.
No, that's not hunger. That's not physical hunger.
Okay,
right?
I see. That's just more of a craving.
Yeah.
That's
emotional
instead of actually like nutrients for your body.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, and for the ADHD person, food, a lot of the favorite foods, they're how they feel in the mouth. So it's the mouth appeal, the texture of it. So our preferred foods tend to be things like cream, cheese, eggs, ice cream, chocolate, you know, anything that's got that mushy feel to it is what we like to binge on quite a lot. So be aware if you've got some of those where they may be, I mean, for instance, my body doesn't really like cow dairy at all, which is quite common.
Right.
My daughter is the same. Does that mean I don't ever eat chocolate? No, it doesn't. But I eat it knowing how my body's going to react to it.
Right.
And that is a whole different, for me, that is freedom. That is freedom to experience that sensation in the mouth when you eat chocolate mindfully, knowing that my body is going to react in a particular way. That's so it's a trade-off. Yes. Right. Wow. So around all holiday times, there's so much food around. So much. Right. And we all have our traditions, and we all have our favorite desserts and all that sort of thing. And I think just be aware of the sugar content of things. I recommend to my clients that they only indulge in a little bit of sugary stuff and some white carbohydrate in the evenings.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Because that will put the brain to sleep. The ADHD brain will go, oh, great. Right. Okay. I'm going to sleep now. Right. So, and that's fine, because then hopefully you'll get some good sleep that night. Right. Because again, that's another issue, a health issue for neurodiverse brains, is that they don't stop. So getting to sleep can be a problem.
because it's racing. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you eat accordingly,
Right.
so you have your carbs in the evening, and the carbohydrates will produce the melatonin, which helps your brain to slow down and go to sleep.
Okay. Okay. Yes. That's really good.
So,
That's
yeah.
really, really good. I love that. I love all these self assessments that you give us. They're, I mean, tangible practices, you know, instead of just saying like, slow your brain down and go to sleep. It's like, you actually give us tangible ways, because it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know how to do that, you know?
Nope.
You
Nope.
know, I just,
Nope.
I love that. I really, really love that. Now, I also know, I mean, this is like just crazy because you're already giving us all this information and you're just blessing us so much. And I just cannot be more grateful. But I also know that you have a free offer that you want to give to our audience. Do you want to share what that
Yes.
is?
Yes. So I have a free ebook, which is and it's all very colorful. My brand is very colorful, but my VA has zhuzhed it all up for me. And so it's my 10 top tips for eating for an ADHD brain.
Oh, that's
so there are, tips around preparing food, tips around having food in the fridge that you can easily and quickly consume.
Oh, wow. Good.
Without too much preparation.
Oh, God.
Right?
Yes.
That, and things like, I always say, decide what's on the menu for the day at the beginning of the day.
Okay, that's good.
It doesn't matter if you don't eat it.
Right.
But the food is there. Right? And make the evening meal something fairly simple to do. So over here, we've all gone mad with air fryers. So I don't know about over there, but
yes, yeah, we're pretty excited about
pretty
it.
up to, yeah. So I love a lovely air fry. Just chuck it all in and put the thing on, and then so I eat a lot of salad with with my meals, and because you can buy it ready made in a bag.
Okay. Yes.
Now,
yes.
As a nutritionist, I know that that's not as full of vitamins as it would be if you prepared it yourself. But you know what? While I might be able to chop stuff during the day, by 7 o'clock at night, I am done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
True.
And my brain's going, no, I am not going to do that.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to eat something that's healthy for me, I have to plan it during the day. And if that means buying ready bagged salads or even ready prepared vegetables, I don't buy ready prepared vegetables very often myself, but have something, know that it's there.
Yeah.
So there's tips in this little ebook along all sorts of different lines about preparing and eating
yes, I love
good
it.
food.
That is so good. Well, we are so excited to dive into that. That is so generous of you, and I cannot thank you enough, especially going through the holidays. And you have given us so many tips and tricks to actually just make our life like smoother. I mean, literally everything from like eating throughout the day, your morning routine, even sleeping at night. Like it's like you've like hit the entire gamut. I just absolutely love that. I cannot thank you enough. And audience, we will have all of Carol's contact information below. We'll also have her links for you all to opt into her free ebook. And Carol, why don't you give us something just to leave on? What do you want to share with our audience as we just close up this interview? And just, I mean, just in my own self, like I just kind of feel blown away in my own self, just, being a nutritionist, but I've never heard of these concepts on the ADH brain, which of course I deal with a lot of clients that have that, but I've never known quite to this level, which is so powerful. What is something do you want to close this with?
I think I know that a lot of my clients have issues with, they go, I don't want to cook, I don't like cooking, or I can't cook. Now, I don't believe in I can't cook, quite frankly. But because I grew up cooking,
Yeah.
and I've always loved it. But what I learned looking back was I really enjoy cooking if there's somebody else sitting in the kitchen with me.
Yeah, that's good.
Not necessarily doing anything.
Right.
I can do it all, thank you very much.
Yeah.
But if I've got somebody to talk with,
Right.
they're sitting there. It's called body doubling.
Okay.
Now, I actually do body doubling.
Is it
with
because
my,
you can feel their energy there?
I think it's something to do with the energy.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure how it works because I can do it over Zoom. But it's, I don't know, I feel it energizes me.
That's so interesting. Yes.
Yeah, you know, I mean, the kitchen I used to be married to a farmer, and the kitchen we put in, it's going to sound really weird, but I designed it around a chair.
Oh, okay.
Right.
I like it.
And it was a big old wooden Victorian chair, and which was in the family. And so this chair was right by the door, and people would come in the door and sit in the chair. And I realized looking back, my father would sit in the chair a lot.
Okay.
And I would be quite happy getting on with stuff in the kitchen if he was sitting there.
I love that.
So I think, you know, if because I know a lot of women, they get sick and tired of day after day after day of what do we cook, you know, and everything else. You know, bring the family in on it.
Right.
And, you know, if you've got young children, teach them, leave them to chop up food sitting at the table.
That's good. Yes. Yes.
Get them to choose one meal a week.
Right.
Even.
Right.
Now I know my granddaughter, she chooses going to Donald's, which is obviously McDonald's, but simply because Daddy doesn't seem to be able to cook eggs properly. But because that's her other favorite food. But get the children involved. I found teaching kids knife skills.
Yes. Okay.
They have no idea how to use a knife to prepare a vegetable.
You're
right.
Yes.
But get them involved with what are we going to eat?
Yeah.
You know, take them to the supermarket and show them where everything is. Just make it a combined thing for lots of reasons, but because it helps with an ADHD brain. To not just be the only person doing it and making the decisions. Okay. Because that's overwhelming. Yeah. B, we function better when we have our body double with us. Okay, good. And C, it teaches the family that it's not just mum's job to do this, right? Yes. I mean, I know a lot of families now, Dad does a lot of the cooking. Yeah. But it is important to involve everybody because the ADHD brain gets worn out with making decisions. It gets overwhelmed with it all. Should we have this? Should we have that? Doesn't like it.
So I just have a question as we're closing with that, because I keep thinking about, like, I have a friend who has ADHD, like definitely has ADHD, and they love to cook. But I thought, like, when I know that I'm going to their house for dinner, I have to mentally prepare that I know they will not start the meal, like even start cooking the meal until I actually arrive and sit at their counter. And it's like, then they actually start. So I have to be like, okay, well, when I go, like, I have to be like, we're not going to eat for the next 2.5, 3 hours. So I got to, like, you know what I'm saying? Like get that in my head. But I think about that because there have been times in the past where I'll just kind of like meander into another, and I can tell they don't like it. They don't like, but so that's so interesting when you call it the body double.
Yes,
like
body doubling. You know? Yeah.
It's so interesting. Because I mean, it is something I'm like, why is that like they like when I have like dinner parties, I'm like, everybody's like, it's like you walk into my door and my plate's like going right down in front of you. You know what I mean? But that's
Yeah.
so, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, why do you think the body double is so important?
Because it helps us focus, but B, we just crack on with stuff.
Okay.
Which
Yeah.
otherwise we would just go, yeah, I need to do that. Yeah, I need to do that. Yeah, I need to start cooking for the dinner party. But let me just go off and do something else. Or, oh, look, there's something. Oh, and there's something on the laptop. And then, and then they get distracted.
Okay. Right.
Whereas when you've got somebody there, it brings you back
Okay. Yes.
the whole time.
Oh, good.
And
Yes.
certainly I found that I would be doing a lot of if I was doing cooking, then a lot of it would be on autopilot almost.
Okay. Yes.
But I think for people who struggle with actually cooking because they've never been taught
Right.
the skills,
Okay.
they might find it helpful, they might not. But if you struggle with it and you've not been taught the skills, go and learn.
Yeah.
Because you know what? We all need to eat. And the more processed food we eat, the sicker we're going to get. So we all need to learn how to cook.
No,
Absolutely.
yeah, no, I'm like with you on that. Yes, let's go.
Yeah.
That is so
Yeah.
amazing. I love that. Seriously, Carol, I cannot thank you enough for taking time out to share with us
Very
today.
welcome.
Even just being generous with your free giveaway. You are amazing. I will tell you what, we have got some solid nuggets to go forward in our holiday with. So audience, if you have any questions or concerns, please go ahead and get in touch with us. Share this information. I know we all have friends, especially women friends, that are going through this, suffering with ADHD and just going through the holidays. But this is one for all the ladies out there. So Carol, thank you again. And I hope everyone has an amazing day.
Wonderful.